What's good? It's Woog. We are continuing our 2025 Grammy coverage. We're going through the categories, we're predicting winners, while giving some Grammy history, and we'll continue to do so as we near the date of the ceremony, which is February 2nd. In this video, we are taking on Best Rap Album, one of my favorite categories. And this isn't a super old category. This just came into existence in 1996, and the first winner in this category was Naughty by Nature. Now check this out. Naughty by Nature's Poverty's Paradise was up against Tupac's Me Against the World, Bone Thugs and Harmony's East 1999 Eternal, Old Dirty Bastards Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version. That's the one with Shimmy Shimmy Ya and Brooklyn Zoo. And Skilo's I Wish was also nominated that year. But there were also like several great albums that released in 1995. So this first Best Rap Album award went to Naughty by Nature's Poverty's Paradise over those other nominees. And it might sound crazy to some, but Feel Me Flow, for instance, was like a huge single that year, and the album did well. And this was like Naughty by Nature's third album under the name Naughty by Nature. They had one super early album under a totally different name, but after like the album that had OPP and the album that had Hip Hop Hooray, that was 1993, they released Poverty's Paradise, and like the third single I think was Feel Me Flow, and that video was playing like all through the summer and through the rest of 1995. So it's not that crazy if you were actually like into hip hop and living through it at the time that all these different albums were released. Poverty's Paradise was a pretty big deal at that time. And I actually released a short video about Naughty by Nature being the first winner in the category. And a lot of people, you know, they were correcting me saying, no, it was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. No, that was Best Rap Performance in 1989. Yeah, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were the first to win that. But Best Rap Album, the first winner, went to Naughty by Nature in 1996. Now, the most wins in this category is Eminem with 6 wins. He's got 6 Best Rap Album wins. It's funny, every time he's like nominated, and he's nominated again this year, by the way, but he's been nominated for some albums, you know, that truly deserve it. But later on, he dropped albums that, I mean, he's always been a lyrical like mastermind. Even today, to me, he is more insanely lyrical than anybody else, even more lyrical than like the best current artist. Seriously, he's on another galaxy, I believe, when it comes to lyrics. But he's dropped a few albums that like the rap community at large wasn't crazy about, but those albums would still find their way to winning the Best Rap Album Grammy. So yeah, Eminem's got 6 wins. Kanye West is number 2 with 4 wins. Kendrick Lamar is number 3 with 3 wins. And I'm sure he's going to be nominated next year with the album GNX. So he'll have a chance of winning a 4th one. And then with 2 wins, you've got Outkast and Tyler, the Creator. You know, Andre 3000 from Outkast is actually nominated this year in the major cross-genre Album of the Year category. Andre 3000's experimental, non-rap, New Blue Sun album, and Tyler, the Creator, obviously dropped Chromacopia. That was outside of the window of eligibility, so he's going to be nominated next year, I believe. This is just me guessing. I think we'll see Kendrick Lamar and Tyler, the Creator nominated for 2026's Grammys. But yeah, Eminem number 1 in the category, Kanye West number 2, Kendrick Lamar number 3. Most nominations in this category goes to Jay-Z with 11 nominations. In 11 nominations, Jay-Z only has 1 win, and it wasn't for The Blueprint, it wasn't for the Black Album, it wasn't for the debut Reasonable Doubt. He was, wasn't a big enough artist at that time. His only win in the category is actually the game-changing, for him, the career game-changing Hard Knock Life Volume 2. That was a massive commercial smash in 1998. So that's Jay-Z's only Best Rap Album win. But again, he holds the lead nominations wise with 11. Number 2 in nominations is a tie between Kanye West and Eminem. They have 8 nominations, and then there's a tie after those two. So I guess this would be for 4th place. It's a 2-way tie between Nas and Drake with 7 nominations, and then with 5 nominations, you got The Roots and Common, and then you've got 4 artists that have 4 nominations in the category. But yeah, Jay-Z number 1 in nominations, Kanye West and Eminem are tied for 2, 3, and then 4, 5 are Nas and Drake, with 6 and 7 being The Roots, and Common. The most recent winner in this category was Killer Mike with Michael. That was a big deal. A lot of people didn't expect Killer Mike to win that, myself included. I thought it was either going to be Travis Scott with Utopia, Nas with King's Disease 3, or the Drake and 21 Savage collab, Her Loss. I didn't see a Killer Mike winning best rap album coming. Not that it was a bad album or anything. I just didn't think that politically he would have, the favor of the Recording Academy to choose him over Nas, Travis Scott, Drake. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a big deal. But this year's nominations include J. Cole with Might Delete Later, Common and Pete Rock with The Auditorium Volume 1, Doechii with Alligator Bites Never Heal, Eminem with The Death of Slim Shady, and Future and Metro Boomin with We Don't Trust You. I think that this is a pretty strong group of nominees. I think that J. Cole's Might Delete Later was really underrated because of the way he pulled out of the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar battle that he was initially involved in. He withdrew, so he actually did delete the song that was Kendrick Lamar diss of sorts. It wasn't as vicious as the back and forth between Kendrick and Drake to come in the following weeks, but J. Cole was in it early, and when he withdrew from it, I feel like his reputation kind of took a hit. A lot of people thought that, hey, maybe J. Cole made the right decision. I mean, look at how much Drake's career appears to be suffering right now, but J. Cole's also gearing up to release an album called The Fallout. But yeah, Might Delete Later, if you listen to that, it's a really, really good album. I just think that its notoriety kind of took a hit when J. Cole withdrew from that battle. Common and Pete Rock. I released a video recently on kind of a old rapper renaissance that took place in 2024. And I think that it was largely inspired by Nas's run with the 3 King's Disease albums and then the 3 Magic albums or mixtapes. Not to say that, older rappers hadn't been releasing albums. They have, like every year, you've got a lot of them. But 2024 in particular had a lot of super high quality, unexpectedly really, really good albums from rappers from the 80s, the 90s, including LL Cool J with The Force, the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre album, Missionary, even though that was never gonna live up to the hype of a Snoop and Dre album. The last time Dr. Dre fully produced a Snoop album was Doggy Style. But yeah, I still thought that Snoop and Dre's album was good. I thought that Ice Cube's Man Down album was good. Master Ace, he's always pretty high quality, so I wasn't surprised that he dropped a good album in 2024. Just a couple weeks ago, you had Redman dropping Muddy Waters 2, which I was skeptical about. I'm always skeptical when an artist names their album like the part 2 of something that was one of their high watermarks in their catalog. It almost feels like a move of desperation. So I didn't think that Redman's Muddy Waters 2 was going to be that good, but I listened to it when it dropped and I'm like, damn, this is a really good album. So yeah, several rappers from the 90s, from the 80s dropped really good albums, and reputation wise, maybe the strongest one out of that bunch, it might be Common and Pete Rock's The Auditorium Volume 1. They did a whole press tour. There have been a lot of fans of Common who haven't been thrilled about his last couple releases, but yeah, this Common and Pete Rock, The Auditorium Volume 1 album, beats wise, lyrically, conceptually, it was just a really tight album. And I just hope that there's going to be a Volume 2 that can match Volume 1, because Volume 1 was really, really good. And then we've got Doechii with Alligator Bites Never Heal. Doechii's had a huge 2024, just in terms of where her name was, like say in the beginning to middle 2023, to how much of a reputation she has today. She just shows up and shows out. Every time you see her doing a video, doing something live, it's always interesting, always kind of cutting edge, always a little bit experimental, unexpected. Yeah, Doechii lyrically and just creatively is a really interesting artist. She's on TDE. So, Kendrick Lamar just left the label. Doechii, not to say that she's gonna have a Kendrick Lamar-like career, but TDE's not hurting for quality artists right now. Between SZA, Doechii, Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, they've always had it going on. J-Rock, but yeah, Doechii really did her thing on this album. Even though the album kind of felt like it was still like an appetizer. It felt like a mixtape, but song over song, you're just like, yeah, I'm grooving with this. Yeah. And then you find yourself, like if you listen to it on Spotify, liking as you're going down the songs. So yeah, Doechii had a huge 2024, but I was still kind of surprised to see that she was nominated because she's not as huge a name as some other names in the game. I mean, you look at like J. Cole, Future, right? These names are always on this best rap album nomination list. You know, there were some other rap albums that I wanted to see nominated this year. I wanted to see Vince Staples. Like, he had a really good album, and I think he's been one of the most underrated, high quality, consistent, high quality artists in the genre. I thought that Schoolboy Q might get nominated. Maybe somebody from Griselda. Benny the Butcher had a really high profile, or he had a commercial release album this year. West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, they're always putting out something really good. I really wanted to see Mock Hami get nominated for Rich Ass Haitian this year. Rhapsody had a really good 2024 album, and Rhapsody is also one of the most underrated and consistently good artists. Like, album over album, she's got like a really good track record. So I would have liked to have seen her nominated. And quite frankly, I wanted to see, after listening to it, I wanted to see LL Cool J's The Force nominated this year. Such a strong album, and it was entirely produced by Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest. So it might be no surprise that, you know, musically as well as lyrically, that was such a strong album. But yeah, those are some other rap albums that I would have liked to have seen, or I was kind of hoping or expecting to see nominated. But yeah, J. Cole, Common and Pete Rock, Doechii. Then we've got Eminem with The Death of Slim Shady. I thought that this was like his best album, I would say maybe since Recovery. Like, I like this one more than Kamikaze. I liked it more than Music to Be Murdered By. Like, this whole killing off Slim Shady and the dialogues that Marshall Mathers is having through rap, of course, through amazing lyrics, of course. These conversations that Marshall is having with the alter ego Slim Shady, it's just hilarious in a lot of cases throughout the album. So clever. And I'm like, how is rhyming on this level even humanly possible in some of these songs? Like, it's really pretty unbelievable. And Eminem always has at least a couple songs that are just like jaw-droppingly impressive on even the albums that aren't as popular. And Eminem always gets kind of crushed by critics. You know, even if he's got a huge fan base, which he's got one of the biggest fan bases in all of music, not only hip hop, but in all of music, right? He's one of the biggest pop artists of like the past like 3 or 4 decades. He's like historically commercially successful, but critics always crush his albums. But I really did enjoy The Death of Slim Shady. Then we've got Future and Metro Boomin with We Don't Trust You. This was obviously the album that contained the song Like That featured Kendrick Lamar, that kind of kicked off and really got that whole beef and battle started between him, Drake, J. Cole. Like, this was the album that Like That appeared on. And Like That isn't the only good song on this album. This is a really good album that I think Like That kind of took the oxygen from some of the other songs on the album because of the magnitude and what it represented. But if you go back and listen to We Don't Trust You, which I think is better than the one that they released like a week or two later called We Still Don't Trust You, which had more, I guess, of an R&B-ish edge, this We Don't Trust You album was very good. I mean, quite frankly, I even liked Future's mixtape Pluto later on in 2024. But yeah, I think that this is a strong nomination. Future and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You. And, you know, Future and Metro have been collaborating, you know, as far back as early Future career. Not on his Pluto debut, but on his second album, Honest, there were a couple Metro Boomin produced tracks, and then things really started to pick up with DS2, and then those 2 huge mixtapes, Beast Mode and Monster. From that point forward, there have been a lot of, you know, collabs between Future and Metro Boomin. Not entire projects. Future still works with a lot of the other 808 Mafia producers and other, you know, go-to producers that always work with Future, but like, there's always been a thing with Future and Metro Boomin. So it only made sense for them to just come out and have an officially like collaborative album. 2 of them in this case. So who do I think should win the award and who do I think will win the award? Should is kind of like which album I thought was the best out of this bunch. And, you know, that's kind of tough in this case because I feel like these are all pretty strong albums. I think that just from a pure enjoyment standpoint, I think I enjoyed Eminem's The Death of Slim Shady the most. I mean, just the points of hilarity. It's just like the level of humor in a lot of those songs is just so great. Common and Pete Rock, I think I listened to more than any of the albums here. So maybe I, you know, subconsciously felt like listening to Common and Pete Rock's The Auditorium Volume 1 the most. J. Cole, Might Delete Later, super impressive album. I mean, J. Cole's also like just consistently high quality. Although I think I listened to Future and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You more than I listened to J. Cole's Might Delete Later. But I would say I probably liked Common and Pete Rock and Eminem the most. I would really like to see Common and Pete Rock win this one. I don't think Pete Rock has any Grammy wins, and he's one of those historic 90s producers, right? From the early to mid to even late, if you consider that first kind of solo compilation album that Pete Rock released. But he's never like won a Grammy with Pete Rock and CL Smooth. And Common, for as good as his, discography is, he's never won Best Rap Album. So I would really like to see them win this year in this category. But I kind of think that it's going to go to, is the Recording Academy still super fond of Eminem? As controversial as an artist as he's been throughout the years, they really, really reward him, handsomely. Even though his last win in the Best Rap Album category was the Marshall Mathers LP Part 2. So he won it in 2015. Are they going to give it to him for the death of Slim Shady? I think that they're actually going to kind of change course in this one. I think they're going to give it to Common and Pete Rock. I think that, I kind of look at Common and Pete Rock in this set of nominees as being underdogs, along with Doechii. I look at those as being like the two who on the surface would probably be the least likely to win. But, we just got Killer Mike winning last year. And 3 years before that, we got Nas winning with King's Disease. I think the Recording Academy is going to bless Common and Pete Rock, the Auditorium Volume 1 with the win this year. So I would like to see them win. And I actually think they're going to get it over Eminem. But if they don't win it, I think it's going to be Eminem. I would be surprised if Doechii or J. Cole with Might Delete Later, or if Future and Metro Boomin win it this year. I think it's either going to be Eminem or Common and Pete Rock, but I'm going to go with Common and Pete Rock this time. Again, I really enjoyed The Death of Slim Shady. Lyrically, conceptually phenomenal. But yeah, I think this is going to be the year Common and Pete Rock, the Auditorium Volume 1 with Best Rap Album. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know who you think should win in terms of who your favorite album out of these 5 are. Also, let me know what you think of these 5 nominees. Are there other rap albums from 2024 that you would have liked to have seen nominated over this particular list? And let me know who you think will win Best Rap Album this year in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.